Plaintiff Diana Ramos Molina says in 2012 her brother, the defendant, robbed her mother's friend and convinced Diana to take the blame. Diana agreed, and then the defendant testified against her, and she was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Diana's suing her brother for stolen property. Defendant Jorge Ramos Molina admits that he testified against Diana, but insists he only told the truth. Jorge claims after Diana falsely accused him of stealing her property, she started harassing him, and he has the voicemail to prove it.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Y'all keep him in here when I leave. Yeah. You be sneaking back there smoking that stuff.
Yeah.
All righty. Start with you.
Yes, Your Honor. Back in 2012, I went to prison for 3 years for a crime that my brother committed. He robbed my mother's friend and convinced me to take the blame for it. I had just turned 18, and I was naive. I believed him, you know.
What did he tell you?
He said that I probably wouldn't even get in trouble for it because I wasn't even there, that they would figure out, the detectives would figure out that I hadn't committed the crime and that I would be okay and that he would have my back, and he ended up testifying against me. And I did 3 years for something he did, and he testified against me.
That true?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, it is. Stop lying.
You didn't testify against?
Yes, you did.
You didn't testify against?
I did testify. However, it was her lawyer that subpoenaed me to be in court, Your Honor.
But you lied.
And I was honest, and she felt that because it wasn't in her favor.
That's not true. I had your back. I've always had your back. And you always lie on me.
When you say you were honest, that means she did do something wrong?
I don't know, Your Honor.
Is that what you told them when they asked you in court?
Yes, Your Honor.
You said, I don't know?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, you didn't. You said she did it because she was desperate for money.
You didn't know?
I was not certain. And in the end of the testimony, I stated that if she did it, it's because she was desperate.
No,
At the time I was young,
I did it because
I wasn't sure how to present myself in court. I was still in my early 20s.
You were in your early 20s?
So I wasn't experienced enough on how to
And
use my vernacular.
And you weren't present when the crime occurred, or you didn't know anything about the crime?
I did not know anything until after the fact, Your Honor.
Right, after she had been arrested?
Yes, Your Honor. The officer showed up at our residence and took her to what I can believe is the police station. They discussed it, and then I was served with a order for...
No, you told me when I went before...
As a witness.
And then I was served with a subpoena by her lawyer to be present.
Okay. And how does your family feel about this? What other family members do you all have?
My dad, he knows what happened. He knows that it wasn't me, but my mom always takes his side. And ever since we were kids, she's always favored him. You know, when I came from Nicaragua, I didn't know English, and he used to tell my mom things in English, and then she would come and hit me, and I didn't even know why I was getting hit. He used to destroy my Barbies. He would write on their faces and cut their hair, and...
Is that true?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Why do you think she's making up all these lies? I mean, these are a lot of lies she's making up.
Until recently, she never stated that the crime that she was incarcerated for was me.
That's
it's
not
after
true.
these incidents
That's
that she is making this up.
That's not true.
In
I told my mom everything.
Quiet, ma'am.
In 2012, I went. I testified. It wasn't in her favor.
Got that part.
She pepper sprayed this lady, tied her up, and gagged her in her own home, and burglarized her.
Go ahead, ma'am. Why do you think he did this to you, beginning at such a young age and up through today?
At first, I used to always say it was because of our age difference, but I don't think that's the truth, because I've seen siblings that are farther apart in age that are super close. And I think I didn't want to accept the fact that he's just a nasty person and doesn't like me.
You all haven't discussed this as a family? Where does your father fall in? What did he do? What did he say?
My dad, he told me that he thinks he's jealous that I was born a female and that he was born a male. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know that he cross-dresses, and he would always stretch out my clothes. He ripped with scissors the straps of my bras, the middle parts of my underwear. He's always destroyed my things, and I've tried talking to him, asking him why, asking him to stop talking, yelling, arguing. Nothing changes.
Sir, you want to give me some background?
Yes, Your Honor. My sister is very manipulative. From a young age, she has gotten her way. And as far as cross-dressing, I don't cross-dress.
Yes,
I
you
did do drag on Fremont Street, but I had my own clothes.
No,
I had my
you
own
used
things.
mine.
We are not the same size, Diana, in
You
case you haven't
stretched my
noticed.
clothes out.
Go ahead, sir. What else you want me to know?
After her incarceration, I moved to Houston. I thought we had reconciled everything, so I moved in with my mother, even though she was there. We were in a shared room, and
No.
from the get-go, she would cut the cord on my laptop,
No.
on my phone. She accused me
You
of
did that
breaking
to
her
me.
karaoke machine.
You did that to
and
me.
then, when I couldn't take anymore, I moved out. I moved out with my
No, you
belongings. I
robbed
did not
me.
take any of her things.
Let me say this, sir. You're very convincing, everything you're saying, but this woman isn't crazy. She's upset. Every single thing she has said, you claim she's making it up. Don't believe that. Let's get to the stolen property you're suing him for.
Okay. I have a list here, and I have the.
Tell me what
police
happened.
report. In November 2018, I was in California, and I was texting back and forth with my brother when suddenly he stopped, and I called the phone and it was disconnected. So that for me was unusual. I drove to Las Vegas from California, and when I got there, I saw that my mom's apartment door was wide open. When I turned on the lights, I saw that my bedroom door had been kicked in and all my things were gone. At that point, I called the police. A few weeks later, a detective contacted me, and he said that he spoke with my mother. And of course, my mother took his side and got the charges dismissed. And you know, one thing I can tell you is if I had done that to him, I would be in jail.
Why do you think he did this? And what was the property he took? You have a list?
Yes.
Thank you.
Why do you think he did it?
So before this happened, he was destroying my things left and right. Every time I'd go to California,
No,
I'd
I
come
was
back
not.
and yes, you were. I would find something missing, destroyed, like my underwear, my bras, my shirt stretched out. And so at this point, he destroyed something that was very valuable of mine, and I got upset. So I took some of his things, I put them in a box, and I said, I'll give you your stuff back when you reimburse me
All
for
right,
what
and
you
when was
damaged.
that?
That was in November.
Okay, same month that he kicked in your door.
Yes.
All right. Let me hear from you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. We were unfortunately having issues. Of course, she mentioned the property that she accused me of, after which she did lock me out of the room we were sharing.
We were not sharing.
That's enough, ma'am. Let him speak. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to get away from all of this, from her, from the drama that was happening. So I talked to our stepfather and got permission to break down the door. He actually
Let's
did.
see it, please.
I actually got permission to get my things.
What things were in there of yours?
Books, shoes, different items, just a few bracelets. She took everything except my work clothes and wouldn't let me even touch my things unless I paid her. And once I moved out, after taking only my things, she
No.
began harassing me. She harassed me on my YouTube channel about an introduction.
Saying what? What was the nature of the harassment? Was it about her allegations that you took her items?
She said that almost everything in this video he stole or had robbed my mom and I before he moved out.
Yes.
If you'd like, you can see that
Let's
as
see
well.
it, please. What do you
I
mean,
have
my mom
steps.
and I? What do you mean by that, ma'am? You mentioning your mom in this.
He stole some of her things too, but he returned them to her.
When did he steal her things?
The same day, November.
That is
November
false, Your Honor.
2018. That's not true.
I also have emails
What
and
of hers
texts.
did he
stole.
steal?
My mom collects teapots, and he stole her porcelain teapots.
How long afterward did he return them?
I don't know the exact date that he returned them, but last time I was in my mom's house, which was about sometime last week, I saw them.
I also have voicemails, if you'd like to hear them, Your Honor, where she is harassing me as well, and you can hear what she really is like.
I'm
Yeah, let me
angry.
hear 'em.
I'm angry because
Ma'am,
you stole
let me
my...
hear him. Go ahead.
When you took my room from me while I was at work, you couldn't even stand to see my stuff in the living room. And every time I'd go on a trip, you'd mess with my stuff. You'd put my clothes on and stretch it out. You ruined my karaoke. And I just think that what you did was really up, and you haven't done it once. You've done it 4 times. You did it to me when I got locked up, and then you sold all my stuff and kept the money. I would be willing to let this go if you just gave me back my letters, my legal paperwork, and my stuff. Like, the things that have sentimental value to me that you took is up. And if you don't give it back, I promise you, one day when you let your guard down, I'm going to find you, and you're going to wish you never with me. If you decide you want to go put a restraining order on me, go ahead. I'll show up to court and tell them how you robbed me, and they might end up giving me a restraining order against your.
All right, that's enough. Sir, has your sister ever been, to your knowledge, diagnosed with a mental illness that causes delusions and hallucinations?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Because a person would be mentally ill to say all those things, and none of them would be true. And it's a one-way conversation to the person they're alleging that did that to them. They're not saying that to convince somebody on the outside because nobody hears them. The only person that hears them is the person receiving the message. And so she's saying something that she is very convinced of. So it's one or the other. Either she suffers from delusions, hallucinations, or I believe her. And you can't tell me she suffers from either of those things. So I believe her. $4,000 is your judgment.
I don't want contact with her. She is nothing to me.
I no longer have an older brother. As far as I know, my older brother doesn't exist. I don't have an older brother.
Plaintiff Audrey Okpon and her daughter Tan Hill say the defendant is Audrey's nephew, and recently he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and an off-duty police officer shot at him. Audrey's suing for the balance due on a loan. Defendant Ivan Ayers says on the day of the shooting, he was at the gym playing basketball when a fight broke out. Ivan claims after someone pulled out a gun, he started running, and the next thing he knew, a bullet grazed his mouth, and he was placed under arrest. Ivan insists Audrey is suing prematurely.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Yes, my nephew, I've always helped him out, take care of him from time to time, and as a teenager, he's been suspended a few times in school.
Did he live with you or something?
A few times, and you know, he's changed his life, changed around, and made changes in his life, went to school, went to college.
Good.
And so at October 2018, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and a fight broke out in a gym. They were playing basketball. This was a widespread news cast that was on television.
What happened?
He was accused of waving a gun at an off-duty police officer, and within that manner, they arrested him.
What was the result of the case?
The case, he was given a $20,000 bond, of which my daughter and family members.
All right, and that's probably the loan you're talking about, but I want to know how the case ended. Was he exonerated?
The case in December 2018 was dismissed. There was no finding. Yes.
Yes.
There was no finding.
State your name.
I'm Tan here.
What is your understanding of what happened?
Well, my cousin was falsely accused of shooting at a police officer.
Shooting at him or waving it at him?
The court case, it was stated that he shot at him.
All right. What happened?
Well, I was allegedly accused of all those incidents.
Yeah, tell me what happened.
Well, this incident happened October 23rd, 2016. My cousin Tan Hill, her baby daddy, he was fighting, and I helped him fight because we came together.
At the gym, playing basketball.
It was a regular basketball fight. It was a foul call, foul hard. It's a regular fight. I helped. I thought I was supposed to help. So when I helped, it became a whole, at least 40 of us fighting each other, which was fine.
40 guys who were there at the gym?
Yeah, everybody helping whoever with each other, you know how I go. And which is fine, it's just a normal fight.
Like they empty the bench in hockey when their one player fights, the whole hockey team comes off the bench. In basketball, they do some of it as well. You say baseball, absolutely. Yeah, you see the whole team comes off. Got that picture. So what happened? Police don't accuse them of waving guns, though. Tell me what happened.
Nobody said there was a police involved. No police announced itself. Nobody said, I'm the police, freeze, don't move. To us, it wasn't no police
What
there.
happened?
After that, we all, somebody put out a gun. We ran, which was one of the teammates that we was fighting. And when you see a gun and you hear a gun,
Correct.
you run. On the miss and running, we got outside, and as I'm trying to get to my car, somebody just shoot at me. And when I turn around, when I heard the shot, I run because I'm thinking, when you getting shot at, you gotta run. I couldn't do nothing else. But as I'm running, this man is chasing me, like really chasing me. So I run, and I couldn't go no more. I was too tired. I already played 2-3 games. So I'm like, either he gonna kill me, or I'm gonna get to this house. And I get to the house, and I'm like, I asked the ladies to let me in. I asked the lady, can you let me in? She's stuttering, so I just go in. When I get to the house, now all my whole mouth bleeding. And I'm telling her.
Did you fail?
No, the bullet skinned me. The bullet skinned my lip.
Oh.
But to me, I thought I was shot. I'd been shot before, so I thought I was shot. So I'm like, man, I'm shot. Call the police, help me. And she helped me, but in the midst of that, 7 girls, I never forget, she like, well, why you coming to here? Somebody trying to kill me. I need help. Help me. So they called the police. She's scared. Now the man who chasing me is at the door with the gun. Still didn't announce who he was. He went to the back wing. I'm like, don't let him in. That's who trying to kill me. So we on the phone with 911. We asked him for help, and they asked him for help. And about 10 minutes later, police come, but it was a different type of call. They called me again, like, well, can you come out with your hands up? I said, I can't move. You got to come in here. Help me. And about 7 minutes later, they come in there, and they come in like SWAT team. And they come in there, and they put me on the ambulance thing, says I'm hit. I thought I was. He said, no, you just skinned. Just a lot of, my whole lip was just split open. I go to the hospital. I got a treatment. But as a miss of that, I got put into handcuffs. So now I'm thinking I'm the victim. But I'm like, a victim don't get turned to handcuffs. So I never knew none of the charges that I was charged with or nothing. When they let me go from the hospital, they took me to the police station, and I was under investigation. You know how that go because, you know, I did a history on you. I look up to you, too. I just want to tell you that you been through the struggle like me. You know, I ain't had much. I got left at the foster. I got left at Walgreens at the age of 4, 5. They know. I've been at foster home, group homes, hottie homes. Anything you name, they'll tell you. I've been through the struggle. And you changed me a little bit. You made me think like I had hope. But then this happened to me. I ain't got no hope. I can't keep doing this. I know I want better. But every time stuff like this happened to me.
Let me see it. And obviously they charged you and you were found not guilty.
I got charged with aggravated loss for use of a weapon, aggravated UUW, aggravated battery on a police officer, and a whole bunch of charges that I had nothing to do with, just taking up for my cousin, baby daddy, like I supposed to. I bonded out of jail 29 days later. 29 days later, I bonded out for $20,000. But they put me on house arrest. So everything that I had going for myself, I graduated. I got my degree in criminal justice. I got my degree in business. I got my criminal justice certificates. I got 20 letter recommendations. I own my own house right now that I'm currently fixing up, but it's no money. I lost everything.
Currently enrolled as a student.
I got all the degrees that you got, sir, besides my bachelor's. I mean, this besides my master's, because they kicked me out because of this case.
And what did they conclude? Either a judge or a jury exonerated you?
I took a bench.
What theory did your defense lawyer use?
The officer had the shorts that I had on. He said it was white, but I had on black. The gun and the bullets didn't match the gun that he found, allegedly. Another officer who testified, well, 7 officers testified against me. They weren't even on the scene. I called the police and asked for help. He never called nobody. So basically, it was It's a shooting at me. He tried to protect himself and lie on me. Basically, that's what it was.
It happens.
And I lost everything. I paid $28,000 for my lawyer, myself, cash, myself. Nobody helped me. My auntie, she did give me the 20-something. She did give me the money. Was the only person there for me. My own cousin wasn't there for me. Or baby daddy, who I helped.
I was there for you.
So I do take responsibility of my auntie, but I didn't get the bond money back. I didn't take it because my lawyer took $5,000 from me.
What do you mean he took 5?
She took, because I paid 28 cash. I said, don't touch my bond money.
Bond.
Yeah, but I said, don't touch my bond money. I'm going to pay you. She said, okay, that's the deal. Now, in order for me to get my money back in time, when the case dismissed, you know it take a long time. But if I sign it over to my lawyer, I get it right back. I was trying to get it right back. I was broke. So I get it back. She like, come pick it up. I go to her secretary. The check say $14,500. I say, oh, no, that's not right. So I sent the text message like, hey, you took $5,000 from me. That's not right. And that's what she said. You don't think I deserve this? I say, look, I already paid you $28,000.
Okay, this is you to her, and we never discussed you taking $5,000, so that's the problem. If that was the case, I would have been waiting on my bond money to come back.
The right way.
All $19,900. I didn't just take anything. Call me Friday. Closing's out of day. Call me the next day. Yeah, sound like a lawyer that's not trying to do right by you. I'll just leave it at that. And you know, every state bar association has a complaint division for the lawyers. Now, what are you behind in, you say?
I'm $3,500 behind on rent. My landlord is my person who fixed my houses, but I'm behind on him. I owe him. I'm in the negative in both of my accounts. I did everything. I wanted to go back for my master's, but I just lost faith, lost hope.
Well, let me say this. Since I've been a judge, and a lawyer, I still, as we speak, I get nervous when the police pull up behind me. And I'm a judge. Police have to come before me when I was a sitting judge, and I ruled over them. But yet, when I got in the car and left, I was still nervous. Because it's implanted, it's ingrained in my head and in your head. So you shouldn't give up hope. That shouldn't stop you, that should strengthen you. You've been on the street. What kind of street guy are you?
I changed, man. I'm a cornball
But you
now.
still have that tenacity and that strength in you. That's my point.
That's true.
If you were strong before, be strong now.
I get pulled over, they harass me. The news keep coming to the house. It messed up my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that, but don't let it cause you to lose hope. That's the only thing I'm saying to you. Fight back, and you fight back by empowering yourself with an education.
Back right here.
Let's see it, and you fight back by getting justice.
I got we just filed our lawsuit.
Okay.
You know what
agreement to attorney fee sharing. Got it.
Against the police.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going through now.
Good. All right. So you are fighting back. Don't give up hope. What are you suing him for? You put up some of the money and didn't get it back?
Yes, I did.
How much?
He paid me $742. The remaining is $2,058.
$2,058. Sir, do you still owe that and you're just unable to pay? Is that what you're saying here today?
Yes, we made an agreement. When the bond money come back, I pay it back. That was the agreement.
And you haven't gotten the bond?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like he has been able to pay her at least some of the portion throughout the course, because even after the court case was over, he took a trip to Vegas. I would think that if you have extra money to take trips...
This woman paid for that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I mean, she may have. She may have.
You see how handsome he is? Smiling. Got a little street swag to him. Got degrees.
Your Honor,
what woman wouldn't want to take him to Vegas? The woman took him there. That's what he didn't spend his money. But I will grant you your judgment and continued success to you. I'm very proud of you. Very proud. Okay. Stay strong, man.
It has greatly affected our relationship. I mean, we've always been there for Ivan, and we've been there through the trial and even so, but as far as this now, it's strained. We haven't spoken.
As long as he cooperate and listen, you know, we're willing to work together.
I agree. I love my auntie. I don't mess with nobody else in the family.
Plaintiff Shannon Daniels says the defendant is her son, and he's made her life a living nightmare. Shannon claims the defendant does not like her new husband, who spent 22 years in prison for armed robbery. And Shannon suing her son today for the balance due on a car. Defendant Kenneth Davis admits that he does not like Shannon's husband, and he claims not only did they get into a physical fight, but they also got into a shootout. Kenneth is countersuing his mother for breach of contract.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
This is my son, Kenneth. I call him JD. Kenneth has made my life a living hell for several years. Mainly
Since what age?
Since he was like 11 or 12 years old.
How?
Just constant harassment, constant...
How can your 11-year-old harass you?
Well, just trouble. He was trouble, but mainly this just recently happened as far as this case here, okay? Because I've been dealing with him for a long time, but this...
You've been dealing with him, how old are you?
30 years old.
You've been dealing with him for 30 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a long time.
Yeah, yeah. And so my fiance, well, my husband, me and him been dating since 2016. Kenneth,
so why don't you know whether he's your fiance or husband yet?
I'm sorry. Uh-oh.
You should know by now.
Well, he's my husband now.
I'm just having fun.
Okay, Kenneth and I, like I said, I call him JD.
What has it been like since he was 21? He's been a man since 21. What has that been like?
It's been like hell.
Tell me.
Okay.
Some of the things.
My husband, Tommy, was released from prison. He did 22 years for armed robbery. He's now a wonderful man. He's very supportive of me, and Kenneth doesn't like him, okay? It's to the point now where back in 2017...
And you all have been married how long?
We've been married since June of 2019.
And when was he released?
In 2016.
16? You went back to jail quick, 3 years.
Oh. No, he was released in 2016.
And went back at 19.
There you go, you're right. You are so right.
Caught it right away.
No, I'm sure his life is great with you. And
yeah.
So, but that's only since 16. Go ahead, young man, you give me some background on your relationship with your mom.
Your Honor, I love my mother to death. But our relationship has been real rocky since he's been released from prison due to the fact, like I said, we got into a fight at our house and a shooting about a year later.
Shooting?
Yeah.
Between the two of you?
Between the two of us.
Each other?
Uh-huh. And she got married to him about a month or two later.
Tell me how that happened, the shooting.
It all happened, I saw him in a car with my uncle. It was up the road from my uncle's apartment. My uncle say, nephew, pull over, to talk to me. So I pull over, park at a distance, knowing that me and him don't really talk like that, or don't deal with each other, rather. As I'm talking to my uncle, he approached me. What's up, young dog? I said, what's up? He go to shake my hand. I look at his hand. Like, I'm not shaking your hand.
So why'd you have a problem with him at that point?
Like I said, he started a fight at my house because...
With you?
With me.
Because?
Because she came over to my house with him, which I'm not comfortable with the fact that he came home from prison with one of our relatives who was a child molester. He was a friend of the guy, of the relative, right? So being that they came home as friends from prison, and this relative was a child molester, I'm not comfortable with my children, who was 7 at the time and 3. Not only that, when they came home from prison, she was married. She was married to her husband, like I say. In the middle of everything happened so sudden. From the divorce to this new situation in a matter of months. They was married for 16, 17 years.
All right, so he came over where your children there one time, and you wouldn't let him in. You said...
No, I told her I just wasn't comfortable with my children being around. She hollered up the stairs, tell me, you need to mind your business. I said, you can leave my house. He say, who you talking to? I said, who you talking to? So he like, come down here and find out who I'm talking to. So I come down the stairs, he's standing like he ready to fight. So I grab a knife. Like I said, you see he a little bigger, I grab a knife. I tell him, hey, you touch me, I'm gonna split you like a sausage. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna play with you, get out my house. She's standing there, don't say nothing the whole time.
That's not true.
No, they didn't leave. They didn't leave until we actually threw hands. We ended up fighting because, like I said, I had the knife. He told me, put the knife down, put the knife down. So I put the knife down. We go out in the front yard, get to fighting. He stopped. I'm gonna let you have it, young dog. I'm gonna let you have it. I said, no, you ain't gonna let me have nothing. Yeah. So look, so he go to tell me, you keep pressing that button, I'm gonna put your BA 6 feet. She's standing here, don't stop the situation at all.
That's not true.
They go to pull off, and I'm like, at this point, they only leave because my girlfriend went to call the police. At the time, he on parole. He can't have no police contact.
Baiting you. You were baiting him. That's what you were doing.
So he had no reason to be in my house. If I asked y'all politely to leave my house because I don't want my children around it, y'all could have just left my house.
We were coming to pick up the dog.
Okay, he had no business coming in my house.
You got upset because the children...
Ma'am, did he ask you all to leave?
No,
he didn't ask?
No, he...
Okay, so why did the fight ensue? What was that about?
This is exactly what happened. We came back from out of town to pick up the dog, okay? His girlfriend was watching the dog first. He came downstairs... And yes, my son Kenneth came downstairs, and then for one, he started to disrespect me, telling me, why you have him over here? Why you have him over here? Then from that point, before I know it, they had engaged in some
before I knew it, he told you why you bring him over here.
No, he did not tell
And the
me
next step he said is get him out of here. Yes, he did.
That's not true.
Yes, he did.
That's not true.
Yes, he did. You handled that perfectly, young man. I'm proud. Where you live?
Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, shoot. Detroit. You handled it extra well.
That's not true.
You handled it extra well. You handled it very, very well from Detroit. Tell me about the shooting.
The shooting. It's
so
because
he reached out to shake your hand.
Yeah.
This is after that incident had already occurred.
Yeah.
You said, no, I ain't shaking your hand.
Because you told me you gonna put me 6 feet. And I told him, no, I ain't shaking your hand. You the same one told me you would put me 6 feet.
Right. Then what happened?
So he say, okay, he paced around like this, like in circles. Okay, I'm a registered carrier, CPL. Okay, so he get the pacing.
Everybody got guns. I don't know what make people think they can fight nowadays. Look, nobody's fighting anymore.
He go put his hand in my face. He said, you know what, I'm gonna tell you this, young boy. I said, you ain't gonna tell me nothing. What you gonna do is get your hand on my face. So I go to reach in my car. Like I said, I'm standing at my car at this point. His car is at a great distance. He didn't have to go get the gun. When I go to grab my gun, he pulling out a gun too. It turned into a shootout. Only thing that stopped the shooting was probably that it was people outside and running in between us. Witnesses, somebody.
So you all got past that, obviously.
Yeah.
And you haven't been associating anymore since then.
Nope, no interaction since
good.
then. Nope.
Tell me about why you're suing him.
I'm suing him, Judge, because Kenneth, back in 2015, Kenneth asked me to co-sign for a vehicle because he got a job in Toledo and he wanted reliable transportation. As a mother, like I said, I love him. I love my son as well. And I agreed to co-sign for him. Once he got the car, he stopped paying the car notes, okay? Fast forward to 2017, the car was repoed, okay? Once they repoed the vehicle, he paid the 3 months to get the car back out, okay? Several months later, they repoed it for the second time, okay? This time they said, well, in order for you to get this vehicle, you have to pay the full balance, okay? Now, the finance company, collection company is harassing me, telling me that I owe this amount, okay? Kenneth has refused to pay anything. I went into an agreement with the collection agency just to keep them off of my back.
Young man.
It's not true.
All right,
she co-signed for the car. No, she co-signed for the car. The moment I stopped paying for the note because she was the co-signer without her being present, I couldn't renew my tags.
That's not true.
No.
Not true.
No. Listen, in Ohio.
Yeah.
in the state of Ohio.
Not true.
I could not renew it.
You don't have to carry your co-signer around with you every time
you don't.
need.
Right.
No,
Listen,
listen.
take care
It was
of
the
some
fact.
business,
No, it was the
sir.
fact that she was on the title. My license was suspended at the
Sir, I
time.
know exactly how co-signing goes, and yes, on the title, all of that. Your counterclaim is for what, sir? How does she owe you $5,000?
Because, like I say, she wouldn't go with me so I could get the tax renewed.
Okay.
So I
All right.
stopped paying.
She didn't have an obligation to do it, and your counterclaim is dismissed, and yours is granted.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
not a proper. That's not a legal defense. Have a good day.
I was only trying to help him, but it backfired.
I had nothing to say.
Plaintiff Ryan Gibson and his mother Veronica Gibson say after Ryan's father passed away, his girlfriend, the defendant, started harassing Veronica. Ryan claims 6 weeks after his father's funeral, the defendant moved her new boyfriend in, who is with her in court today, and Ryan is suing her for unreturned property. Defendant Heidi Martin says the only reason she's in court is because Veronica has always been jealous of her. Heidi claims after her boyfriend's death, she was assaulted by Veronica's friend, and she's countersuing for 2 cell phones and emotional distress.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, so this starts when I was 13 years old. I saw that my dad was texting with somebody named Heidi, so I snooped on his phone. I found text messages that I wish I didn't, but you know, it was dirty, but no pictures or anything. So I told my mom right away. They were married at the time, my dad and my mom. And obviously they split up, and I strongly despised Heidi at that time because she had torn my family apart. Over the next 2 years, 3 years, I grew to trust her, and
good.
I actually did like her.
Good.
And even though my mom was, you know, not in the same situation, I grew to trust her. And then March 31st, 2018, my dad died in a car accident.
How old was he?
51.
So sorry.
About a week later, after the funeral, she was screaming at me and telling me all these mean, like, absolutely horrible things about my mom, saying she never meant anything to my dad when they were married for 15 years, and it was just uncalled for. I don't know why that was brought up, but about 6 weeks after the funeral, she
the day after
moved
the
her
funeral,
new boyfriend Todd right here into her house,
which is not
which
true
was
either.
6 weeks after. And after my dad passed, the harassment of her on my mom got even worse. She was texting my mom off of Todd's phone because my mom and Todd were friends before that happened. She used to text my mom off of my dad's phone bad things.
See, why?
Jealous and insecurity, because I was married to Chris for a long time.
That's what
we had a child together. It started.
This was a
It started.
failed
They
marriage.
started seeing each other, having the affair. Ryan found out it was December 1st or 2nd.
And you were with my
of
husband at the time.
2014, when we had just moved back to Minnesota from Pennsylvania, and we were actually house hunting, and we were staying with Chris's parents while we were house hunting.
And you were dating
and then
my
they started
husband
seeing each other
when you were living
I
with
found
Chris.
out Ryan told me December 1st or December 2nd, like the
But I'm
first week.
still just confused as to why, after smoke is clear, your ex-husband is deceased, what's the motive, what's the purpose
I
of
don't know,
texting
because
you?
she was already with Todd. I don't know. It got worse.
And she says that you were dating her husband
I
while she was
wasn't.
dating your husband.
No. What happened? They had the
Ryan
affair.
was there and-
I moved
Quiet,
out.
ma'am.
I
You've
found
accused
out.
this woman. Let her explain.
I found out December 1st, and the day Chris told me he didn't want me to leave, he wanted both of us. I said, I have some self-worth, and that doesn't work for me, and I moved out December 31st, 29 days after I found out about the affair. Her daughter and Ryan are 12 days apart. They go to school together. So I found out who she was called her mother, asked her to have her husband call me because I wanted to know if he knew what was going on because they were very
And did you all end up dating?
No, he called me that night, and he was like, "Oh my gosh," because we didn't know each other, but
Okay.
he,
You didn't date him. I was just letting you say that. Okay.
No,
it would
so
have been a
then-
little justice, though, if you had.
No, I just.
Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
I wasn't interested in him for that. I just wanted to
Okay.
see what we were going to do. For
All
the
right,
kids.
ma'am, did you do this? Start sending nasty texts to her? And if so, why? What was the purpose?
Because one of her friends had assaulted me. And it's documented in a court record.
What does it have to do with her?
Because she had the friend assault me more.
Why?
That's not
Why do you
Because
think she
she's
did?
jealous. Again, I
That's
love
not true.
Jealous of what? Quiet.
jealous that I was now with her ex-husband
No,
after
he
a
was
third.
deceased.
Yeah, but it's her third failed marriage, and now he was with me before he passed.
But he's deceased, so she's no longer jealous of you because she has nothing to be jealous of you
She
for.
is. She's again, like I said, I love Ryan.
You have any of the texts,
as a
and let's
son.
see if any of them make reference to you having her woman jump on her. Now that sounds like it might be a legitimate text. If she believes you are sending someone for her, then yeah, it's not over.
Your Honor.
But if the ex-husband is deceased, what is there for you all to argue about? Other than perhaps possessions, and that's what his son is here to discuss and argue about. But other than that, what do you have with this one? What do you have with her? You don't have any texts? I'm just curious
That's
as to
not-
what she has to say to
I
you.
threw that. It started. The bullying of me started in 2014.
No, I want to know after he
threw it out.
passed. That's what your
No,
son made
no.
reference
Even
to.
worse, after
She
he
was
passed,
bullying
it got
me.
worse.
That's what I'm
ignored her.
saying.
I don't understand
I
either.
didn't ignore her,
I was
I
getting
ignored
sick
her.
of seeing my mom crying over her, so I don't know. I
Okay,
got sick of
let's leave that alone. That's not as important. Ma'am, you want to give me some background on what's going on here?
Sure, again, I love Ryan as a son. We functioned as a family. He lived in my house with his father and my daughter. And the only reason we're
It was
here
your house?
was my house that
Okay.
he lived in because she didn't have the place to have
Okay,
him.
I'm just making sure it's your house. Well, that's irrelevant.
He had
ma'am.
his own bedroom and he
That's
lived in it.
irrelevant. It was your house. That's all I want to know. Who owned it?
And the only reason we're here today is because of Veronica's jealousy, and she felt I took her family away. She felt I had her husband and her son, even though it was her infidelity
Ma'am,
that
if
caused
that's
it.
the reason we were here, she would have been here long before today.
She tried
It
two other
happened
times.
long time ago. Ma'am, get over that. Nobody's thinking about you.
Your Honor, so I actually
You
lived
got
with
your
her.
new man. Is this your new man?
Yes,
Well, then, does he
absolutely.
know you're still so in love with your deceased fiance that you got to go after his ex-wife? Because that's what it is. Go ahead, man.
As-
What else? He came. It's your house. He came to live with you.
Once he passed, the day after his funeral, at the funeral home, I had been giving some personal property, one being his watch, and then I had a class ring wrapped in hot pink thread and his dog tags that we had found on the keys later that were given to me. And so the day after the funeral on Saturday, Ryan came to my house, went up into the master bedroom, and took the watch off of my dresser, the ring, the dog tags that were on my infinity necklace that Chris had given me the prior Christmas, and he hid them and left the house. Well, Ryan and Veronica filed a false restraining order against me in August, saying I was sexually and physically intimidating, and
Sexually intimidating to who?
to them.
That's
And
not.
What do you mean?
have
Both of them? They were saying you wanted to have sex with
This
them?
is coming from.
What do
Yes,
you mean by sexually intimidating?
that's what she checked on the restraining order, and she
Let's see
also
Ma'am,
checked.
what do you mean by this?
I don't think that's what I said.
It says physically or sexually assaulting.
I have an order denying the harassment restraining order after hearing from.
Right.
Yep. So.
All right.
It was
It's
denied.
getting worse and worse for you. It's going to be hard for me to believe anything you say.
Can you read the one
You want to
further
stop
down?
now or you want to keep going?
Can you read the one further
No, I'm not
down?
reading anything. I read that lie that you presented to me, to Miss, it is funny. It's going to be much more funny when he gets his money and you get thrown out. It's going to be so funny. So tell me about the property that you're suing her for, young man.
So my father, he didn't like to use credit cards, so he'd let her use her card and he'd pay her cash. And he was a Navy SEAL, so he liked collecting his weapons. And he bought a gun safe in her name. And the weapons that are in the gun safe, I haven't heard, seen of, and they're worth a lot of money. And
Did you let me see, what do you have, something there? Did you ask her about them?
Yes,
And
many
what has
times.
she said?
We sent, well, I haven't had any way to contact her. She's cut my whole family off. We sent an affidavit to her house
In May.
For all the items.
Let's see them, please.
Here, it's right here.
And what, did you get a response?
No.
No.
We sent another one after no response from that.
Okay.
And then finally we took her to court for it.
He did.
Not we. I took her to court for it. We saw a moderator and nothing got resolved, so.
Okay, that's why you came here.
Yeah.
She admitted to giving everything away. She told the
that is
mediator
marriage.
that.
Okay. Ma'am, what do you say to this?
I have the one on January 10th that they first sent me on this bank asset sheet where it doesn't list anything, and then I also
Doesn't
have...
list anything? They sent you something that said nothing?
It doesn't list it as now there's specifics. They were saying they think he had some guns.
You just told me it didn't say anything.
Well, here, can you show that?
No, you told me it doesn't. I don't want to read nothing.
It says...
Give me something to read where it does have something on there.
It has something to read.
Okay, because you said it didn't have anything.
This is the first one.
You said it didn't have anything.
That was a company.
And it says exactly the items they were asking for, ma'am.
And then I also...
What's your defense? Where are the items, ma'am?
I also have...
Where are the items?
The mirrors for his Acura, I don't know.
The guns.
There are the two guns that Chris still had. Ryan picked up because they were in the vehicle, and I have
So you think he's
signing
making, just
for
came
them.
here today? Why do you think he's doing it if he already has them? I don't believe a word you're saying.
Okay.
Your counterclaim is dismissed because I don't believe you, and yours is granted. Have a good day.
Thank you. Still love you, Ryan. I have many pictures and memories. So hopefully someday you'll realize it, and I'll give them back to you. Your father's things.
I want her to finally leave my family alone and stop slandering me and bullying my family.
And
Get
I
a life.
also, what she said was a lie. She doesn't love me. She's a piece of and Judge Mathis figured that out right away, so.
Plaintiff Susan Heinzler says the defendant is her son, and their relationship was okay until he married his wife, the co-defendant. Susan claims her son's wife never liked her because a psychic told her that Susan was no good, and she's suing them today for an unpaid collections bill. Defendants Timothy Heinzler and his wife Mary say despite the fact that Susan's life has always been a mess, they took her into their home. However, Timothy was forced to kick her out after she started spreading their marital business all over town. Timothy insists Susan forgave their debt. Start with you.
Okay, Your Honor. This is my son, Tim Heinzler, and he and we have an okay relationship. It's not the best, but not the worst.
Why isn't it?
Why isn't it? I don't know. We've had some rough patches over the years, Your Honor.
How long have they been married?
3 years. As far as my daughter-in-law goes, I was doomed from the beginning with her. I didn't have a chance due to the fact that she had seen a psychic before she even met my son. So
what did the psychic tell
that
her?
That I was a bad person. I didn't like her. She didn't like me, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
But in any event, I eventually moved in with them. I wanted to be closer to my son and my grandchildren, and doing that, I thought maybe things would change with Mary and I, and they didn't. They only worsened. She seems to get at my son, quite often in his ear, telling him stories about me, lies, threatening me.
Give me an example of a threat she made.
Tim, you better get your mother before I push her down the stairs. Okay. So in any event, Your Honor, I had a family member pass back in September of last year. And my son and daughter-in-law opened their home to their surviving 2 children and the father of the children. And it was a nightmare because Tim's wife, Mary Heinzler, kept accusing me of having sexual relations with him.
Did the psychic tell her that? Or
I don't know, Your Honor.
Okay.
Apparently so.
That's a pretty inflammatory allegation.
Absolutely. It was a nightmare. She not only upset me, she
did that.
upset a lot of people
I don't
within our
believe she
family.
did that. Let me allow them to give some background.
How you doing, Your Honor?
Good.
My wife, she is a hard person to get along with, but she is.
Why is she hard to get along with?
She's a demanding person.
Okay.
She likes things a certain way, and that was the major thing with her and my mom.
She tells you what to do? I mean, it's
my
no
wife?
problem.
No. I run the house.
Oh, okay. She's shaking her head. You don't. She's pointing to herself. Go ahead. Yeah, I know she does. Go ahead. That's the first thing out your mouth. My wife is very demanding. You didn't say demanding toward others. You said demanding. That includes you. So go ahead. Why didn't they get along?
My mother would do stuff to get under her skin, for sure. Okay. She would do the dishes and rearrange all my cabinets. And my wife has complained to me about it a few times. So yeah,
you would do that?
Your Honor, it was just organizing because she's a mess. She's just messy.
Absolutely
It was
not.
straight organizing.
Yes.
A mess is her life. Because let me tell you something. There's not one time that we haven't got along and had a great time except for when you're being a mess.
Your Honor, she's lying.
Sir, who's nasty?
They both are.
There it is. So we can get past that. We can get past that. All right. And ma'am, do you actually go and see psychics?
I have, but
You
this
have?
is talking.
All right. Who's going to win
about
this
that,
case?
Mom.
Who's going to win this case? You? All right. We'll see whether you have some psychic connections or not. What about these threats, arguments and threats? And ma'am, I'll let you tell me now. It's your turn to talk.
Arguments and threats. I don't
What do
ever
you all
recall.
usually fall out about, and how often?
When I hear other people let me know that I have her in my home and she's purposely doing stuff and laughing about it and saying, "Oh well, I'm going to get under her skin. I'm doing this on purpose."
And what is the problem?
Jealousy.
What?
I don't
Jealous
really
of
know.
what?
I don't. You'd have to ask her that
She
because
took me away from her.
Got it. All right.
Maybe.
Then that happens a lot. And do you have you made these outrageous allegations?
I witnessed with my own eyes.
What did you see exactly?
Let's see. I seen a lot of this, a lot
What?
of
You saw
makeup in
what?
the morning, a lot of booty rubbing on the chairs. He'd be sleeping and she'd be like, "Hey." 3 o'clock in the morning, she's getting ready for work. This man's sleeping, trying to get rest, and she's lights are on, pouncing around in her heels, all hoo, and actually telling me texts about them flirting, but actually admitting to other people that she's doing it to get under my skin.
Your Honor, she is lying.
All right. Tell me how she owes the 2818 or the both of them. How do they owe you that money?
In August 2016, my son was very passionate about opening his own landscaping business. And at the time, I had the means to do it, to make it happen for him. So that's what I did. I opened a line of $3,000 at Home Depot for him with the stipulation and understanding that he knew that he was to pay on this. And I mean, it went well for a little while until 2 days before Thanksgiving when she got a bug in her butt and kicked me out. And
What'd she
ever
kick
since
you out
then,
for?
The bug in her butt.
honestly, sir, it was due to the young man that we're talking about.
Okay. All right. And what was the excuse about non-payment?
I have not had any conversations with them, sir.
Okay, and that's been several months. Sir, what do you want to tell me about this?
No disrespect to my mother, but truth is kind of ugly, and she hasn't really been stable for me my whole life. I bounced around a lot, home to home, school to school, even out of
What's
state.
that got to do with the credit
Anyways, my mother she's been a wreck her whole life, never stable. I got stable, I grew up, got stable, tried to help my mother out because she was still unstable, bring her to my home for free.
Unstable financially?
Yes.
All right, so why are you criticizing your mother for being poor? My mother was poor too.
I bring my mother into my home, rent free.
That sounds like to me you're criticizing your mother for being poor when you all were growing up, sir. You didn't say she was on drugs. You didn't say she was an alcoholic. All I'm hearing is that she was poor. And a lot of women with children. Now, how do you know whether she was poor or not?
She
you
was
wasn't
not
even
poor.
around. You just get off the
Use
train.
and abuse people.
Go ahead.
Anyways, my mother got kicked out because she was running around telling my marital business to everybody, creating lies and creating havoc in my home. That's why I kicked my mother out, not her. And prior to kicking my mother out, I was down on my luck.
You were poor.
I was down on my luck.
Go ahead. You were poor too. You come here criticizing somebody for being poor.
No.
It's
I'm not poor.
genetic.
I just
She
went
was
through a
poor,
little
now you poor.
rough patch.
Go ahead, sir.
Anyways, as she stated, I bring people into my home to help them, and as well as everyone was out on their luck. So my mother, she did help me, but because I was doing so much, she did tell me not to worry about it. That
That's a lie, Your Honor.
It'd be taken care of.
Why do you think she changed her mind?
Because I kicked her out. Because I kicked her out. Me and my mother never had a written agreement between us.
I know, but she had a written agreement with the finance company in which you assumed. You assumed that when you said you would pay the bill, and you haven't paid the bill. And you're talking about you don't want to pay it because she gossiped, you put her out, and now she only wants it for that reason. She wants it because you owe it.
Absolutely.
That's what she wants it for, and you can't get out of it because you say she told you verbally. She says she didn't tell you verbally. Pardon me?
Your Honor, I have 3 phone records here. My phone
all right,
calls.
now you can keep talking, but you can talk your way on out because she won. 2,818. Have a good day.
Well, until my mother learns how to be a responsible woman and come around her grandkids' life, I don't want nothing to do with you.
You have no idea as far as me coming around because you're gone. When I've come around and knock on the door, the car's in the driveway, and I hear my grandson.
You have never knocked. Don't lie. You have not knocked. I'm home all the time. Stay at home.
I've been
mommy.
told
Listen,
not to see my grandchildren. I've been told I
Your-
was not allowed around the house.
Your youngest grandson wakes up every day and asks for you, and you know what I do? I pick up the phone and dial your number. You know what you do?
I had
You don't
to
pick
block
up.
all the numbers.
Block the whole
She would
time.
harass me. She
You're
was
lucky you're
calling
getting
me
your
while I
money
was
back.
at work. She was calling car insurance companies that I had been with.